Welcome to WXXV's Expert Talk. I'm your host, Michelle Eubank, and today we have a special guest in the studio, John Russell O'Neill with Oak Trust Insurance. John Russell is here to share insights on flood insurance and why it's a vital protection for those of us living on the Gulf Coast. Thanks for joining us today, John Russell.
Thanks for having me.
So we're nearing the end of hurricane season, and we've seen a pretty devastating season this year. A lot of flooding, a lot of wind events. What's the one thing you want Gulf Coast residents to know about those policies?
Michelle, while all policies are very important, most people understand the need for homeowners insurance with wind insurance with it. But what a lot of people don't know that they may need is flood insurance. Most people that are in flood zones, that are in high-risk flood zones, they're required to carry flood insurance by their lender and just by the knowledge of being where they're buying in a high-risk flood zone. People that are outside of those flood zones a lot of times don't think they have a need for flood insurance. However, nationwide we see 25% of floods that happen outside of the high-risk flood zones.
Oh, wow.
And as we're dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene right now in the Carolinas, theirs actually trends a little bit higher. 34% of all the flooding that happened in the Carolinas from Helene happened outside of high-risk flood areas, and more than likely a vast majority of those people did not carry flood insurance.
Wow, so if you're not in a high-risk flood zone, are these policies affordable?
Yes, actually they are. It depends on where you are and the distance to water and the distance to a risk, but for the most part, they're the most affordable of the flood policies that you can get. We have a couple of different options. We have the options through the National Flood Insurance Program, which is administered by FEMA. Then we also have a lot of private flood options too that tend to be very, very competitive.
Awesome. And if you guys have questions about flood insurance, you can reach out to Oak Trust Insurance. Thank you for tuning in to WXXV's Expert Talk.